Hello, welcome to our first slime video with the Lego sisters. And we'd like to thank you for being here today and for checking us out because we are just beginning. And just thanks for watching. So today we will be starting by making and testing 4 different slime recipes we found. 2 use regular glue, 2 use clear glue, and we're just going to be tooling around trying to see what we can do and see if they work. The first recipe we are going to try out is a fluffy slime recipe, and you will need school glue, either Elmer's or whatever you prefer, a container to do your mixing, something to mix it with, and shout out to Menchie's. This is not sponsored, by the way. And some shaving cream, and obviously your activator. So today this recipe calls for 8 fluid ounces, but instead we are going to cut the recipe in half and do 4 fluid ounces. So we are going to pour this into our container. And remember, if you don't get all of it, it's not totally a big deal. Okay, and then next you have to start adding your activators. So first we will be doing the baking soda. And for our baking soda we need 1/2 teaspoon. Okay, so we're going to measure it. And then stir. And then we will also need 1/4 cup of water. Creative, would you mind filling this up? Thank you. Okay, and here we have. So we're gonna gradually mix it in. Okay, so we just realized, look at this tiny bowl. We need a bigger one. And she went all out. So, because it does call for quite a bit more ingredients. So now we're just gonna add all this in. Sadly, we might lose a little bit of glue. Sorry. Okay, so we've gotten as much out as we can. Because of the transfer, we lost some glue, so we're gonna add some more in, but it's totally, completely fine if you don't. And you probably didn't lose as much glue as we did because you did it in a bigger bowl. Okay, so we don't need a whole lot. I think that's good. So now we're going to begin with the shaving cream. It calls for 2 to 3 cups, but we're going to bring that down a little since we did make the recipe smaller. So we are going to settle at 1.5 cups. So we're going to make sure we get a lot of that in there. And I'm just going to add some more in there. So I'm just going to kind of scoop that out. I'm just going to add some more. In there. And that probably will even out to about 1.5 cups. So now we are going to be mixing it all in until it's pretty even, which will take a while. So now we have finished mixing and it's looking pretty fluffy. So next we will be adding in our food dye. For this we decided we would use a yellow color, so we'll be doing that now. So we're going to add a few drops and see what it looks like. Okay, so now we have finally mixed in to make this beautiful light pastel color. And next we will be adding in our solution. So we will be using the Elmer's Magical Liquid. Of course, you can use contact lens solution, borax if you please, but we just had a lot of this for our supply, so we thought we'd use it. Okay, so we are going to be using 1.5 tablespoons. So stir that in there. Mix this in. You can see it's already starting to form a little bit. Okay, and now we're going to add 1/2 tablespoon. Oof. Here we go. And then we're going to stir it until it starts to thicken up a little. And as you can see, it already has started the thickening process. So as you can see, it has not really thickened up that much, so we are going to add a little bit more in until it is pretty much completely dense. Okay, so it's starting to really get in there. And can you add a little bit more, Super? Yes. Okay, so that is probably going to be all that we need. And look at that, just coming right off. So fluffy. And it is still a little sticky, so I'm going to start to knead this. Okay, so it is starting to thicken up a little more. We're kneading small pieces at a time. It's just beautiful. So it's gotten a bit messy as we were kneading, but finally it's actually starting to come together in a slime format. So this, after lots of kneading, and we did end up adding quite a bit more solution. Anyway, after adding that, it became a super fluffy, not sticky. I mean, yes, this part is sticky, but that is not totally needed. But this part is so fluffy. Definitely not a clicky slime, but wonderfully fluffy. Okay, so this slime recipe was definitely a success. Please comment down below in the comment section and tell us if this recipe worked for you. So we have got a name for this wonderful fluffy slime, and since when we're recording it is really close to Easter, we are going to call this light pastel yellow slime a cheap slime for peeps and chicks. So next we will be making a butter slime for slime number 2. So first you will need a bowl and a spoon. Just like before, we will be using the large bowl that we used previously. And then you will need glue, shaving cream, baking soda, contact solution, or any type of just solution. And then clay, of course, which would make it the perfect buttery texture. And for clay, it doesn't really matter if it's just regular clay, Model Magic, really anything works. But try not to put, if it's baked clay, try not to put it in the heat or the sun because your slime will get really hard and thickened. So first we're going to add in some glue. Just going to finish the rest of this one off. And for this one, we only need a little bit. We're going to be making a slightly smaller recipe. Got a tad bit more glue. It's probably good. Yep. We're also going to need some shaving cream. So we will add just about as much shaving cream as we did glue. So that'll probably be good. And then we'll be mixing this in. Until it is pretty smooth. So now we have mixed it until smooth, and we will be adding a little less than last time of baking soda. So we are adding 1/4 of a teaspoon. Add a little bit more because I didn't get a full fork. And mix that in thoroughly. So now we will be adding our food coloring, which is pink. So I'm just gonna add, a few drops. First I'm gonna start off with one, see what that coloring is. And this is probably gonna be enough since we're making a small batch. Of course, you can add more if you're looking for a more rich pink color, but I think this will do for us for now. And then just mix that until it's very smooth and the color is even. So now we have thoroughly mixed it in to create this beautiful light pink color. And then we will be adding our solution. So we will be using, once again, the Elmer's Magic Liquid. And we will be using just a tad bit because we don't want to overdo it. And then we will add some more in if need be. And remember, since this is a butter slime, we don't need to add as much because the clay will continue to thicken it. So we're going to keep stirring until smooth and add as we need to. So here it is. And right now it is just a little bit sticky. But once we add this clay, it'll be wonderful and smooth. Okay, so now we are going to take just a little bit of this clay and we're going to add it. Would you like to do the honors, Super? Sure. Just slowly mix it in and break it up. And once it is fully smoothed, so after a lot of kneading, we finally got it like a decent texture. Now, it could be a lot better, yes, I have to admit. But if you add more clay, just keep kneading it further, you can get the right texture that you're looking for. And we found that kneading the clay before we added it in helped a lot. So I would say it's a success, but it could use a little bit of work. So this slime, well, as we said, has not turned out exactly as we had hoped, but it was definitely not a fail. And we are calling it Blossom with this beautiful pink color. So we let Blossom sit overnight, and it turned out to be a really good butter slime. And the chunks of clay are all smoothed out now, and it actually was a total success in my opinion. So for our third slime that we will be doing today, we will be doing a basic clear slime. So what you will need is just clear glue, your solution, water, and baking soda. So first you add a 1/2 cup of glue. We will be splitting the recipe in half, so we're doing 1/4 of a cup. And then you need to add the water and the baking soda. So first we're going to add the water. And for the water, it's a 1/2 cup, but we're also going to do 1/4 of a cup today since we are splitting the recipe. And then add the water. So then we'll be adding the baking soda, and the recipe calls for 1/2 or 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. So we're going to go with 1/4 since we are trying to split the recipe the best we can. and then mix until dissolved. Then we will add desired food coloring. So we have added a drop of purple food dye, and now we're going to mix it until it is smooth. So next, the recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of solution. So we're going to do that. Even though we're splitting the recipe, it's better to get what we can for now. Mix that in. And then it will start turning into slime and collecting together. And as you can tell, it has already started to do that, even though we have just added a little bit. Now you can see that it's starting to form even more, and it's starting to come up off the bottom, but we're going to keep mixing it until it's strong enough for you to pick up. So here we have it, and it was definitely a success. Very stretchy, and I know it's not that clear right now because it has a whole lot of bubbles, but over a few days, it might even take a week, but it will clear up and be beautiful. So we've decided to name it Jelly Bean for the beautiful purple color and of course the holiday that's coming up or is here. And we're just super excited. For our last but definitely not least slime, we are going to be making a water jiggly slime. Okay, so the first thing we'll need is some clear glue. Now, we aren't sure exactly how much we're going to need, so we're just going to pour a little bit in. And then you need water, so we're going to try and even out the amount of glue we used with water. And then we're going to mix until smooth. Then we will be adding a half tablespoon of glycerin. This will do for now, and then we'll just pour it in and see how it goes. And then mix thoroughly. And then we will be doing our food coloring. We'll do 1 drop. And then stir it until thoroughly green. Then next you add the activator. And then mix. It should start thickening, but just keep adding activator until it gets a good consistency. So it still didn't seem to thicken up to the right texture we were looking for. So we're going to add some baking soda just to try and even it out. If you're having the same problem, you might want to try baking soda as well. But remember, this is just an experiment. We're just trying to see if we can get this as nice as it could possibly be. So just mix that in and try and get rid of all the clumps. So it didn't turn out as we thought at all. It's pretty much still liquid. The baking soda isn't dissolving. You can't really pick it up. So we are going to call this a fail. But we will still try and make another green clear slime at least. We're going to try and see how that will work out. So our last try of the water jiggly slime did not go as planned. So we decided that we were going to try and still make a green clear slime, just not try and make it jiggly since it didn't work out before. So let's try it. So this is our previous clear slime that we made purple, and it is called Jelly Bean. And we have let it sit for, I think, a week, and it became super clear and not totally clicky, but still really pretty. Okay, so we are going to start with a half a cup of glue. So we will be pouring that in. And it's okay if your measurements aren't perfectly exact. It'll still end up a good slime. So next we will be adding 1/2 cup of water. And then stir until smooth. So now we'll be adding 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And then stir that in until it is completely dissolved. So next you add the food dye. We'll be using green like we were going to use before. And mix it in until it's completely green. Perfect. So now we have mixed it, and then we are going to add saline solution. Or if you don't use saline, we aren't going to use saline. We are going to use Elmer's Magical Liquid. So you could either use borax, Elmer's Magical Liquid, or saline, whatever you prefer. So we are just going to add it and mix it until it has formed completely, and it might take a while and a lot of mixing, but we're just going to keep adding it. Now we have added enough solution that it's starting to come off the sides, and we are going to start to knead it. So we have kneaded it, and it is looking really nice. It is still a tiny bit sticky, but over time and with a little more solution, it'll be a perfect clear slime. So I don't know if you've noticed, but this is the same recipe we used for jelly bean. So this is not a new recipe, but we wanted to make 4 new spring slimes. So we thought we would just make another clear one. And we decided that we are going to be naming this one Sprout for the beautiful vibrant green color. Thank you everyone for watching our spring slime time video. If you liked the video, hit the like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe. Bye!